As you know, today we concluded the activities surrounding the 5th National Toshaos Council. And I stress that this is the 5th one because we've seen in some sections of the media attempts to portray this National Toshaos Council meeting as being separate and distinctly different from those that were held before. The same issues we've discussed have been discussed at this one, and we have made significant strides not only in reviewing the agenda since the last National Toshaos Council conference meeting, but we have also worked on new frontiers, new programs for the upcoming period. So I'm very pleased that it went extremely well. The Toshaos themselves were very adamant that they wanted this to continue, this sort of engagement. And we had here Toshaos and representatives from every Amerindian community in the country. They themselves made it clear that they're the elected representatives of their people, and they're the only ones authorized to speak on behalf of their people. So I was very pleased with this. It came to my attention during the course of the meeting, one of the Toshaos made a very emotive statement saying that the AFC has put out a press release that some of the Toshaos did not have a chance to air their views. So the AFC is hosting a press conference for those Toshaos. Several times we asked the entire room if anyone hadn't had a chance to adequately air his or her view, could do this at that time, and they all said to the last person, not a single person said that they hadn't had an adequate opportunity to air their views. So I just have to deplore the AFC for using an issue like this to again try to create division among the Toshaos and to try to generate discontent. We had an open conference as per usual. People spoke freely, and even the contentious issue of land rights. There are many communities that felt that we had made movement forward. There's one group of Toshaos that come from region number 7, Upper Maz region, and they have a court case on the land issues, and we will await the ruling of the court on in those areas. If they request, as per the Amerindian Act, demarcation of their land, we will also move forward in accordance with that piece of legislation. But right now there is a court case, and those communities in Upper Maz have chosen the route of the court. So we'd have to wait and respect the court's ruling on that matter. Nevertheless, over 109 communities are now titled, and as you have seen in the last years we've been in office, the land mass available to Amerindian people has moved from under 6% to over 14% today, and we have not completed the demarcation exercise or the extension exercise. This will go on as communities request them. What I lamented was the non-disbursement of the funds, and I've seen some editorials in some of the newspapers regurgitate the old argument that we have not put up the projects to the steering committee. That's absolutely false. We have 3 projects before the steering committee. One to deal with solar panels, another to deal with the Amerindian Development Fund, and the third has to do with the demarcation of Amerindian lands. And from a layman's perspective, everyone would recognized immediately that these are no-brainer projects. All the communities want the solar panels, so there is acceptance by the indigenous communities. The solar panels are not going to create negative externalities, that is environmental or social problems for these communities. So therefore, it's just a straightforward issue of a transparent procurement system, which we've had, and a Danish company has now won the bid. Yet we're stuck in this cycle of non-disbursement. Nevertheless, we are moving ahead to fund this project on our own. Hopefully by that time the international community, or some elements in the international community, would get their act together and reimburse us with our own money for the solar panel that we would have bought. And the same thing is for demarcation of Amerindian lands. Here the Toshaos were requesting this. All that we are going to do with this money is to pay the surveyors to go on the ground and demarcate the land. Yet it becomes a mega $1 million project for these institutions, because some of them simply are not seized with a sense of urgency. So a few newspapers can go on with, one, they're schizophrenic. Sometimes they criticize the international community, but if the government were to criticize the international community, suddenly the international community becomes the angel, because it's all part of trying to turn things on the government. I'm not too bothered with what the newspapers say. I'm not too bothered. I'm just more concerned about these projects moving forward for these communities, and that is what we have achieved here today. So I was very pleased that the conference went extremely well. The second issue I thought that needed clarification was the issue that surfaced in the media recently with CN Sharma. Now, let me give you a background into this matter. Channel 6 aired a program, a commentary, that was very offensive in many ways to many people.